All right, we're gonna get started. Thanks for joining me. We're gonna do a lot of standing exercises. That's kind of the point of this class. Hopefully you'll get warmed up really quickly. I know I'm a little bit cold. So we'll start warming up and then we'll do some focused balance exercises and strengthening exercises. The idea with this class is to bring all of our Pilates principles down on the mat up to standing, which obviously is an important place to be strong since most of our day is on our feet. So let's just start with your legs wide apart and let your arms swing a little side to side. Just get your arms moving. You can keep your feet kind of planted or you can push and lift one foot off. But the idea is mostly to swing your arms side to side, get a little bit of movement going. And then start to focus more on the cross of the ribs towards the opposite hip. So it feels like your abdominals are pulling your arms back. Bend your knees, get a little lower. So everybody's up here, that's fine, but try to get down lower. Speed skater kind of feeling. Use your abdominals to pull yourself back. Yeah. And then turn your feet so that you can swing your arms forward and back. Again, you can keep the feet down. You're just trying to swing the arms, kind of playful, carefree motion. You can push off the back leg if you want. And then switch which leg is forward. We're thinking about moving through our soft tissue right now. We're not trying to be muscular about it, more emphasizing a release of our fascial system. And then coming back to the center. Bring your feet underneath you and just start by lifting one leg up off of the floor. I'm going to angle a little bit and then tap your heel down to the floor and then lift that leg up. Do that a couple times. Find that connection and that strength through the standing leg and bring your hands behind your head. As you're lifting and lowering, if you're standing on a mat, it's going to be a little harder to balance. If you're on the hardwood floor, it's a little easier. You decide. Lift and lower, just connecting into the back of the hip. Lift and lower. And 3 more. Hopefully at some point we can all shed a few layers here. And lift and lower. And then lift your leg up, hold it, and flex your upper body forward towards your leg. If it's too hard to balance, just put your heel down and barely touch the floor. And then lift your upper body back up and flex head to knee. As you straighten your body back up, touch your heel to the ground. So knee and head towards each other, knee and head away from each other. Towards and away. And a couple more. Up and over the bottom ribs. Tap away. It's okay if your balance isn't perfect, you're just working on it. Should feel some connection through that standing hip. 2 more. Lift up and over. And tap down. And lift up and over. And tap down. And then switch to the other leg. So start by just lifting the leg, touching the heel to the ground, lifting it back up. Feel like you're really opening the back of your calf and you're trying to not let the ribs extend or change as your leg is lifting and you tap your heel down. Lift, tap down. Good. You can just stay vertical, looking forward, out through the wall. So you're trying to expand your field of vision as far away from yourself as you can. And then add that little up and over as you bend the leg. Tap down without really putting much weight into it. You're staying pretty tall. Woo, lifted and tapping back down. If you lose your balance, just get back into it. Lift the leg, lower the heel. Lift the leg, heel and head towards each other. And lengthen. Think of pulling yourself forward into flexion from your abdominals. Up and over, and lengthen, and up and over. 4 more. Try to see if you can lengthen the body as you press the head up into the ceiling and the heel down, pushing the floor away through that standing leg. 1 more for good measure. And from one day to the next, your balance will change. That's totally normal. And then bring both feet back down to the ground, hands behind the head. You're going to allow yourself to bend your knee as you bring your head and your knee towards each other, then straighten and switch legs, and then go a little faster. Obviously, don't hit yourself in the face with your knee. The standing knee can bend a little. Almost like the feeling of like if you were throwing a ball or like you're getting punched in the stomach. Feel like your abs are pulling you into flexion. Lengthen the back of the body. Lengthen the back of the body. Couple more here. One more each side. And last one. And then bend your knees a little bit. Let your upper body round forward so you're in that flex position. And stay there. You're going to side bend over to one side. Lift your chest to the ceiling. Go to the other side. And come back to the center. Keep going the same direction a few times. Going around. Less movement of the pelvis around. The hips stay pretty centered. And more movement of the upper body. Big circle around. Use your breath to help you. One more this direction, then we'll reverse directions. And reverse. Big stretch of the body around. Your knees are bent. You're in kind of a squat position the whole time. Around. 2 more. Big circle. Open your heart to the ceiling. Stretch the back of the body one last time. Circling around. And then coming back to the center, release your hands. Step one leg back, doesn't matter to me which one it is, into a lunge. Find the place where you can get your back heel down. So big lunge. And then just do a little push-pull where you're bouncing the heel up away from the ground, splitting the knee and the heel away from each other. And then leave the back heel down. Whatever's helpful with your arms, they can be forward or they can be up. They can be on your hips. That's the easiest option. You choose. Lift the back heel and then push the back heel back down. So you're kind of like fanning open the back of your ankle. And then you're pressing your heel back down. Trying to get a little lower with each one. You might be able to gradually slide that foot out a little further back behind you. Pressing the back knee all the way open. Most of your weight is on the front leg. 2 more. And last one. Leave the back heel up and then bend your back knee to go down. Circle the arms around as you come up. Down. Circle around. You're not straightening either leg the whole way. It's pretty low motion. Circle and around. Use your breath, however it helps you. Circle and around and circle. And around that front glute is really lifting and lowering you, kind of elevator feeling. One more time. And then step that leg forward, reach the other leg out behind you. Find a place where you can drop the back heel down, push into that back heel, and then find a little bounce. Heel up, down, up, down, up, down. Find a place where your arms challenge you appropriately. And then leave the back heel down. You're gonna push the floor away to lift the heel, fan the ankle open. Push, pull, trying to fully lengthen, open the back of the knee joint. Use your breath to help you as you continue. On your next one, keep the heel lifted and lower down and part way up. Lowering down, it's definitely the front of your legs, your quads, but you want to feel like it's the glute as well. And up, down, and up. Few more here. Last one. And coming all the way back up, stepping back forward. Good, you don't have to turn, I'm just turning so you can see me, but come down into a squat position. Stay there and see if you can shift your weight just enough that you could release one foot from the ground, keeping your knee bent, and then lift and lower that leg a few times. Lift and lower. The standing leg, you're trying to keep it the same. Lift, doesn't have to be high. 4 more, 4, 3, and last one. Set the leg down, transfer your weight to the other leg, release the foot off the floor, tap down, lift, tap, lift. Knees are both bent. Try to keep this standing leg from wobbling around on you, so the knee stays right over the center of the foot. So you've got to have your knees bent quite a lot, and then you'll be able to hold. Yeah, try not to kind of flick the leg, but find your balance. Even if it means you can barely lift your leg, that's fine with me. Good, last one. And then straighten your legs back up. Take your feet about as wide as the widest part of your hips and go down and up in a few squats. Down and up. Keep the knees going over the center of the feet. And then you're going to stay down on your next one, hold, and lift one heel, put that heel down. Lift the other heel, put it down. As you're going from one heel to the other, feel like you're keeping your torso the same length on both sides, so you're not kind of hiking one hip up. Your back is neutral. Hands on the hips, out to the side, overhead is the most work. Hands on hips is the least. You decide. And then reciprocal, so they're both moving at the same time, but your pelvis is staying level. You can check in with your hips and make sure they're not going crooked. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then both heels are gonna lift and both heels are gonna lower. You're gonna push yourself away from the floor and down and lift a little. Nice. Lift and lower. Two more. And last one, set the heels down, bring your feet closer together. Just nod your chin, roll down to the floor, touch the floor, kind of shake the legs out a little bit, shake your head out. And then take a breath, roll back up to standing. Start the same way with those leg lifts to the side. So come down into your squat, reach your arms out, lift one foot. If you don't have to touch the floor, don't. Keep the leg up the whole time. Make sure you're not kind of panic standing is what I think of it is like, I'm scared, I can't balance. And so then all your attention goes into your ankles. You've really got to contain your torso. So feel like you're pushing down against, I don't know, the shoulders of two people next to you, that you're containing your whole body and you'll be able to balance a lot better. That looks better. Holding. 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Transfer your weight to the other leg. Reach out. Feel like that press down. Everything is nice and stable as you reach your leg out to the side. And tap down. If you don't need to set your foot down, don't. Push out, tap out. As you continue, keep your back as neutral as possible, your hips as level as you can. They won't be perfectly level, but you're trying. 4 more. 3, 2, and last one, and then stand back up. Take your legs to a second position, so a little bit of turnout, and the legs, so the heels are kind of at the wide part of the hips. Bend your knees. This is the most similar to reformer work. So going down and up a few times in squats. If this doesn't work for your knees, go to parallel again. Down and up. Your knees need to go over the center of your feet. We all have different turnout, so don't feel like you have to turn out as much or as little as I am. You decide. Down and up. Two more. Stay down at the bottom, hold, lift one heel, put it down. Lift the other heel, put it down. As you're lifting, try to keep the hips from rocking side to side so your hips stay level and you're just lifting the heels. Good, feeling like the knees are reaching out away from the pelvis. And then we're going into reciprocal. So one heel and the other, they're both moving at the same time. Pelvis will move a little, but you're trying to keep it pretty still. 4, 3, 2, 1. Then the whole body lifts a little because both heels lift. Both heels lift. Both heels lift. And 4, 3, 2, and last one. Lower down, step your feet together, nod your chin, roll through your spine, let your head shake out a little, you can bend your knees a little, drop the back of the pelvis, and roll up to standing. Good. So from here, the standing leg can be a little bit bent, but you're gonna lift one foot in front of you, stretch it out to straight, and then see how far you can take it across the midline. Yeah, and now take your leg out to the side and then across. If your heel taps on the floor across the midline, that's fine. You should feel like you're a lot more vertical than we were before when we were doing this leg to the side thing. Now the leg comes across and out to the side and you lift it as much as you can. Cross and lift. At any point, just touch the floor if you lose your balance. Lift to the side. That same feeling of like you're pushing down into two people's shoulders next to you. Out to the side and trying to not tip the pelvis. Nice, Michelle. Across and one more time and try the other side. So more or less straight legs, leg goes across and out to the side. And you go towards the floor, down, across, up, and out to the side. Should feel like the standing hip is working and the torso is working just as much as the legs are. Of course, if you need to hold on to a wall or a chair, you could, but you don't need to. Definitely a lot more work to not. And all that side leg lift work we're always doing laying on our side on the mat, that's to build strength for all these standing positions. 3 more. Try not to just swing the leg. That's different than trying to lift the leg. Yeah. Not wrong, it's just different. and then setting it back down. Bend your standing leg. You're switching feet again. Lift the other foot up so you're in a pretty significant bent position. Touch your toe to the floor. Find your balance so you don't need to keep your toe on the ground. Press your leg forward, bend it back into the other side, then reach your leg out to the side, bend it back in, reach your leg back. Keep ticking through those 3 directions. Of course, you can touch the floor if you need that point of balance. If you don't, then just come to the ankle, reach back. Come to the ankle, reach side. Come to the ankle, reach forward. Another round. On your next set, as your leg goes front, I want your body to tip back. As your leg goes side, I want your body to tip away from that. As your leg goes back, you tip forward. So you're tipping away. You might need to tap your foot in between each one. So you reach forward, you lean. You can tap the floor if you need to. You reach back, lean. Yeah. And one more round in each direction. Tap and lean, trying to control the standing hip. And then standing on the second leg, bend your knees, find your balance on that one foot, kind of test your balance by picking the toes up, and then reach your foot forward, in, side, in, back, in, repeat. You need to tap the floor each time you come into the ankle, feel free to do so. Finding your stability. If it's too hard, all of this stuff, instead of just grabbing for furniture, try taking the mat away. If you already have taken the mat away, then maybe try putting a pair of tennis shoes on. You'd be able to balance probably a lot better. And side. And then on your next set, add that lean. So the torso leans back as the leg goes forward. The torso leans side, and the torso leans forward. Ticking through different directions. Take breaks wherever you need to. Tap into the ankle or keep the foot hovering. And lean, center, and lean. One more set in each direction. Lean, center, lean, center, and lean, and center, and shake your feet out. Okay, last thing for the moment here. So you're going to let your standing leg bend, lift the other foot up, that little bit of hover, reach your leg out behind you, hold it there, tap your toe to the floor, lift it a little, tap, lift. So the back leg is straight. You're thinking of lifting from the back of the hip. No, it doesn't look like it, but keep your back leg straight. So as you're lifting, you keep it straight the whole time. 4, 3, doesn't have to be a big range of motion. 2, and 1, bring that leg in. Last side of this, other leg reaches out. Little lift, lower, lift, lower. Four more. 4, 3, 2, and last one. And then come back up to standing. So then stand at one side of the mat. You're going to come down into a squat, step to the side lunge, and then bring your foot in, and then step to the other side lunge. So you're trying to imagine the ceiling is really low, and you're trying to stay below it. And you're not going up into the ceiling at all. Feels kind of easy at first, and then you should start to feel like your hips are working to hold you in this position. Reach the arms out to the side or overhead. 2 more. And then we're gonna step out into a lunge. Let the leg you stepped away from straighten. Pump your arms back, 5 like hundreds. Then step in, pump your arm back, hundreds. Yeah, and then take that continuously. Pump, 2, 3, 4, 5, and either tap the floor or balance with your leg in the air. 4, on your own timing. Tap, 2, 3, 4, 5, and pump. 2, 3, 4, 5, and pump. And tap. Make it so that you're finding those chances to explore the ends of your strength. If you make it too precise and perfect, you're not going to find that. So some of you are like slowly drawing your leg up and lifting it and then very carefully pumping. It's too easy that way. Nice strong pump. Stand on your leg. Lunge out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Stand on your leg. That's better. Pump. Stand on the leg. With the leg straight in front of you in the air, it's easier. This is much easier to balance. Bend your knee, Michelle. I think it'll be harder. Not harder on the leg in the air, harder on your balance. Yeah. Last one. Try to keep the ribs connected. So as you're balancing, you're not like at the end of a gymnastics routine where the ribs are flared way out. They've got to come back. Hold your balance on that leg, either with your arms up or down, wherever they need to be. Find your balance and let your knee open a little to the side and then bring your knee back in front of you. Knee opens to the side, back in front of you. If you need to put your foot against your leg, you can do that as well. But open, close, and open, close. Good. And keep the ribs back and in. 4, 3, 2, and 1. That same leg is going to tap back, bending your front leg, lift it up in front of you. Tap back, lift it up in front of you. You can always tap into the ankle if you lose your balance. So you can tap here and then just tap back. Tap at the ankle, tap back, or lift the leg in front of you. Most of your weight is in that front leg. 4 more. 4, nice and strong arms. 3, 2, and last one. And set that leg down and scooch to the other end of your mat and go out into that lunge. Find your hips square, pumping the arms back. 2, 3, 4, 5. Stand up, either tap or lift the legs. And try to find those moments where there's only one foot on the floor and you're balancing to get from one place to another. Awesome, Gloria. So if you take a risk and get your foot off the floor as soon as possible, instead of sort of dragging it along the floor, it'll be harder for you. Pumping. 4 more. Keep it moving. Challenge your balance. Don't be too perfect. One more set after this one. And then lift your leg in front of you, find your balance, take your knee a little to the side, bring your leg back. If you need to put your foot against your leg, you can. So it's more like a clam. Open and close the knee. Pelvis stays still, just holding the hip up, trying to find that kind of ease in the front of the hip socket. So it feels like there's too much tension in the front of the hip. Just reset and try again. Or put your foot against the standing leg. And 4, 3, 2, and last one. Hold your leg in front of you, then tap back and lift your leg and find your balance in front of you. And tap back and lift. Try to find that bend of the front leg, and then you stand straight into it so that you find the lift. And tap and lift yourself up. Tap back, lift up. Lift and tap and lift. 4 more. Two, and last one. And find your balance. Set your foot down, let your arms just relax. Nod your chin, roll through your spine a second towards the floor. Let your knees bend a little and straighten a little. Feel your weight even through both legs. And then on your next exhale, start to roll yourself back up to standing. And from here, we're going to take our squat position. Bring your hands to your forehead. One hand is going to come to the inside of the knee. Don't let that knee fall in. So you're pushing against it and you're rotating in the opposite direction. Rotating feels pretty contained. That bottom arm is reaching down the leg as you rotate. One shoulder's protracting as the other's retracting. And then you're going to reach across the diagonal, bend the elbow, reach across. Bend the elbow, reach across. Bend the elbow, reach across. Good. Reach across. And then extend the elbow, reach across. Extend the elbow, reach across. As the lever is getting longer, should feel like you can go a little further. On your next one, keep your arms straight. Big rotation. Last 2, and last one, and then stand back up. Just roll the shoulders forward and around a couple times, just taking a breath, trying to get our upper back moving. Last one, and then you're gonna bend your knees, come back down, bring your hand to the forehead, and rotate the other direction. Rotate, rotate, and rotate, and rotate. And then reach the arm across the diagonal, pull the elbow back. Good. Imagine if you had a flex band, kind of creating some internal resistance. On the next one, extend the elbow. Bend, extend. And keep the arms straight. Big rotation. Not leaning into the bottom hand. You're reaching the bottom hand down as you rotate. 3, 2, and last one. Step your feet together. Roll the shoulders and roll them back. And roll the shoulders. One more time. And then we're going to nod the chin. Roll down through the spine. Step one knee down onto the floor and then the other. So you're in your neutral quadruped position. Shift your weight forward and back a couple times. Just rocking your weight through your wrists. And then circling your body around in all directions. And reverse. Big circles around and around and around. And then coming back to the center of all of that, bring your knees all the way together. Tuck the toes under, push the floor away and hover your knees into leg pull front prep. So really low hover, pushing the floor away. Set your knees back down. You can protract and retract there, meaning the shoulder blades come towards each other behind you and then away if you like. On your next one, hover your knees up. Once your knees are hovering, either stay or do that little protraction, retraction. So your knees are in as low of a hover as they can be. You'd be doing these shoulder glides there. Yeah, nice, Genevieve. Or you can just hover your knees off the ground as usual. And then set your knees down, untuck your toes, push yourself back into a little shell stretch, stretch your body open. And then come back onto the hands and knees. Reach one leg out behind you, lift it up to hip height, keep the pelvis level, and then do that little rock forward and rock back from your standing hip. Push and pull. Push and pull. From the standing hip, you're going forward and back. Find the center of all of this. Rotate your pelvis to the side. Square your hips back down to the floor. Rotate the pelvis to the side. Square your hips. And if you want to add a little rock back as you rotate, you can. But if you're working on the coordination of the pelvis moving, then don't worry about it. Rotate and rotate, shift back, shift forward, square it off. Rotate, shift back, shift forward, square it off. Rotate, shift back, forward, square it off. Last two. And last one. Come back to the center. Rotate your pelvis open and see if you can release the hand on the floor in front of you. And if you can, reach it all the way up to the ceiling. No pressure, just try to take weight out of the hand. If you can turn to the side, go for it. You don't have to though. If you get there, then little leg circle. If your fingers need to be down, that's okay. You can still leg circle. Circle. Should feel like most of the weight is in your pelvis. It's totally fine if your hand is touching the ground. Reverse your circles. Four, three, two, and one. Bring that leg and arm back down. Sit back towards your heels. Take a breath. And shift your weight forward. And then find the other leg reaching out and back behind you. Hover it up to hip height. Little push-pull, keeping the leg height the same as you rock back and forward. Try to stay as neutral as you can. Good. Pulling. Stretch that leg really straight. Then pause in the center. Rotate the pelvis open to one side. Square it back off. Rotate open. Square it back off. If you can, rock back as you open the pelvis. Square it off and rock. Square it off. Rock back. Square it off. Feel like a lot of nice outer hip work here. And four more. Four. Keep the back knee straight. Three, two, and one. If you can, stay there, either with your hand on the floor or not on the floor, and circle the leg. Circling. In some ways, having just your fingertips touching the floor is a little harder. Harder on the hips, easier on the balance. So it doesn't matter which position you can manage today. They're both a lot of work. And then reverse your circles. And then bring your leg and your arm back down. Sit back towards your heels, stretch your back. And then you're gonna come to laying on your back. Legs are stretched out underneath you, all the way out to straight. I'll layer this, so feel free to stop at any layer. You don't have to add all of it. We're gonna start by bringing one knee in like we did standing and bringing our head towards that knee and then pressing back out. As you do this, feel like you're pushing down through the straight leg, down through the straight leg. So you're trying to open the back of the hamstring and knee as you flex up. Then adding rotation of your upper body towards that knee as it comes to your chest. Rotate and start to take it a little faster. Rotate, reach out. Rotate, reach out. On your next one, you're going to rotate towards the knee. Stay there. Hold that rotation and see if we can lift the bottom leg and lower the bottom leg just a little. Lift it, lower it. Lift the bottom leg, lower it. Last one, lower the leg back out. Pull the leg in and rotate the other direction and see if we can just lift the leg a little, lower it. Lift, lower. And then bring both feet back down. Take your legs wide apart, take your arms out to the side like a T, and just drop your knees a little one way and the other, and just stretch your back open. There's not a lot of ways you can do this standing without it turning into a modern dance class, which, you know, I might like. I don't know if everyone would. Just trying to find a little release. So make it, again, less perfect, more thick quality. Reach, pull the ribs in, feel the opposition, and last moments. And then roll all the way over onto your stomach. On your hands and knees. Hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. We come back to our leg pull front prep. We're gonna do a leg circle where you're reaching the leg out to the side, kick it back, bring it in. 4 in each direction. You can do it with the knees down if you need to, or the knees can hover up. Here we go. Hovering the knees, lift one leg, circle around. 4, 3, 2, 1, reverse. 4, 3, 2, stay low, and 1, set your knees down, take a break. Reset everything, and we go for our second side. Here we go, hovering up, legs circles. 2, 3, 4, reverse. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Bring your leg in, set your knees down, sit back towards your heels, transfer your weight back onto your feet, drop your head, start to roll yourself back up to standing. Once you're standing, find your balance, reach one leg out in front of you, circle your ankle around. 4, 3, 2, 1, reverse the circle. 4, 3, 2, 1, leg goes to the side. 4, 3, 2, 1, reverse. 4, leg goes back. You probably have to bend the knee to stay vertical through the torso. Reverse. 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch feet, switch standing legs. Reach the other foot forward, vertical torso. 2, 3, 4, reverse. 4, 3, nice. And leg goes side and circle. Good, Soraya. Find the balance and reverse. 4, 3, 2, 1. Leg goes back, stay vertical. And reverse. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch legs again. This time you're going to incline. So you're bending the standing leg, you're leaning your torso back, circling the ankle, lift the leg in the air as high as you can. 2, 3, 4, reverse. 3, 2, 1. As you go to the side, take the leg to the side, tip your body as far as you can to the side. Hold that balance and circle. And reverse if you haven't already. Then the leg goes back, your body goes forward, you're as horizontal as you can be, circling. 2, 3, and reverse. 2, 3, and 4. Switch legs. Leg goes forward, you lean back, circle. 2, 3, 4, reverse. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Leg goes side, your body tips away from it, and you find your balance there. Reverse. Leg goes back, body goes forward, circle as horizontally as you can. And reverse. 2, 3, and 4, and then step back in. Good. If you have a thick Pilates mat, you can roll it up a little bit so that it gives you a more unstable surface to stand on. Like if you put it in quarters, just don't trip on its folds here. And then you're going to stand on it with one foot. Should also elevate you a little bit off the floor. So if your hips are level, your foot won't be totally flat on the floor. Then you're going to bend your standing leg to put your free foot, the one not on anything, all the way down on the floor. Yeah, like Michelle, I think you could fold your mat up more. It'll be more work for you. I know you like to make things hard. Okay, so then bend and straighten your standing leg a couple times. And if you need to move your free leg away from your body a little further, you can. But you're trying to just, basically, it's the beginning of a one-leg squat. So it doesn't have to be very big, but you're bending a little and straightening, finding your balance down and up. Depends on how thick your mat is, how hard this is going to be. The thicker, the better. It's kind of like if you were in the studio and you had a BOSU, that sort of thing. And then bend your leg in. As you bend one leg, you're straightening the other. As you straighten one leg, you're bending the other. And 4, pull up, 3, good, 2, and 1. And then switch over to the other leg. Find the same number of folds to stand on. Don't want to cheat the other leg out of work. And find that balance. You can bend the leg and go straight down and up. If you want to take the free leg a little further from the midline, you can, so you have more range to go in. Just make sure that knee is going over the center of the toes. Definitely don't want the knee falling in, which is why we're starting really small here. Down and up, down. Good. Yeah. And then start to bring the ankle, the knee into the ankle, the foot into the ankle rather, and then kick it out, pull up and in. One is straightening as the other is bending. Reach out, pull up. If your standing knee is wobbling around a lot, go slower or kind of control it a bit more, because I don't want the knee falling around on you. Yeah, it's those outer hips. Imagine again, pushing down onto some shoulders of people next to you so that you're using your arms to help you stabilize. Last 2. And last 1. And then stand back up. Switch back to the first foot. If you are finding that it's too much, like your arches are almost cramping, too much footwork, then get rid of the mat or flatten the mat back out. So you're gonna reach one foot forwards, bend your standing leg, and then just drag your foot on the floor in a big half circle. Obviously, the lower down you are, the more work you have to do to be there. So you decide how low you are. Keeping your torso relatively still, leg is sweeping. That leg you're standing on, try to get rid of this lateral wobble that wants to happen. Use your arms however they can to help you. Out to your sides is going to help you a little bit more, especially if you're actively pushing down and connecting them. And see if you can go faster. Last one. And then switch sides. Cool. Find that balance on the second foot. Reach your leg forward, get down as low as you can. Sweep your leg in that arc around. Nice. You can keep the leg that's moving straight unless it's going to hit furniture. And around. See if you can go a little faster without more wobble of the standing leg. Use your breath to help you however it can. Last two. And last one. And then step your legs back in. You can stand both feet on the mat. Just roll down through your spine again. Let your hands drop towards the floor. Let your knees bend. Kind of bounce your upper body. So you're letting your upper body kind of dangle forward. As you exhale, it should feel like the bounce kind of releases things through the back of the body, especially. And then press down into the heels and roll back up to standing. One last little moment here today. So stand with both feet on the same thickness of mat, however you can do that. If you can, get your feet at least sits bones distance apart, so they can't be right next to each other like a ski. Got to have a little more space than that. Okay, go down into your squat. Lift your heels, lower your heels, stand back up. If it's too much, don't lift, lower your heels. And down, lift, lower, and up. Down, lift, lower, and up. It's okay if they don't go very far, as long as you feel that additional challenge. 3, and 2, and last one. And then pause. Then I want you to stand with your heels on the thick part of the mat and your toes on the floor. So my heels are elevated like if I were in, I don't know, like pumps or something, very low, but a high heel. And then I want you to go down in your squat. You probably can go down a lot further because your heels are elevated. Yeah, exactly. Down and up, down, up. Four more. Last one. Come all the way back up. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Stretch your legs down and your arms up. Fold like you're rolling up and over a picket fence. And you're rounding until you get your fingertips or your hands on the floor. Stay there a second. See if you can take a couple breaths into the back of the body. You're trying to horseshoe your body as much as you can. And then drop the heels down into the floor. Kind of zombie arms. Roll all the way back up. Circle your arms around and release through the arms. And you're all done. Good job.